Tomorrow Internet, the Grizzly Enthusiast TGE here, and we're back. Well, not back in Magic or anything, but we're going to try a different little format today. So what I'm planning on doing today is every card in Crimson Vows has been released or been leaked, so awesome for that. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm just going to go over the ones that I like. No meta implications, or if you're like, oh, build this deck. I'm just going to be like, these are the cards I like, and if you like my opinion, cool. Like and subscribe down below, and if not, yeah, I'm gonna come back with more Magic play next week. So this is just like something to do in the middle right now. So let's just jump right into the cards. First cards I'm gonna go over are the cemetery ones. So just like the adversaries before them in the previous set, these are the mythic rares of whatever, I don't know what they are, but they all have their own like set of things that they do. I just used these two just because, yeah, they were there. I'm a big fan of, I do like the Cemetery Gatekeeper just because of when it ETBs, it exiles a card. Well, not only that, they all do that when they ETB, they exile a card, so that gets rid of a lot of those graveyard synergy things. You can stop disturb. I think that's pretty much these whole things are to stop disturb, even though disturb is a mechanic that's is doing pretty iffy right now, but we'll touch on that in a little bit. The main thing I wanted to look at is the Cemetery Gatekeeper. So when player plays a land or casts a card of the exile type, this thing does 2 damage to target player. So, you know, the vampire's always trying to get those effects to chain off that go off of damage. It's a pseudo spectacle effect, so that's kind of what they got going, and this guy just helps out a lot. So, yeah, I'd play this one. The Illusion, was it Illuminator? Yeah, Illuminator. I feel it's a pretty good one for either a Spirits deck or a mono blue deck. I just like it for the fact that it's on attack, you can still use its ability. The white one, and I think there's another one that what's called, and the Gatekeeper. They're the ones that don't activate their abilities on attack, which kind of makes them a little bit, I'm gonna say, not that prevalent for me. But I do just like the whole setup that they have. That there's this set of cards that just, hey, we all have this sort of thing related to each other, and I'm gonna try to maybe make a deck around all of them, or just storm in as many decks as I can, because I feel they're just really good cards to have, especially to get stuff out of your opponent's graveyard, because my lord, there is just so many graveyard effects going on. So many people are trying to pitch stuff out of the grave. These guys just say, nah, we ain't having it, we're stopping it immediately.
Not today, Satan, not today.
But, you know, they also kind of suck for Disturb, which is actually a pretty good segue of what we're going to go into right now. I want to talk about the Disturbed cards. So the Disturbed cards have they're pretty good right now. Well, I'm not going to say they're good. Probably good and limited. Really good and limited. If you watched my Spirits deck, which was just a bunch of a train wreck, you'll know that I have a soft spot for Spirits, and this mechanic is just pretty fun and pretty interesting. These cards on the screen, so Dorothea, I know on the backside, whenever she attacks, you get to make a 4/4 spirit flying thing. Yeah, whatever that is. And yeah, you lose that at the end of combat, but that's still early game, that's late game aggression because you're casting this on 3. But if you have that Geist, it comes in on for just 2 mana. So I kind of like it. It's a pretty cool card. And then Catilda, she gives you protection from vampires if vampires become a thing. There you go for that. And she also has, what's it called, her backside. I want to say it's pretty much all the new Disturb cards have their same front effects, but just on the back, and their auras and enchantments. You have to play a deck that really rewards that. Auras and enchantments aren't super good right now, but it just gives you a flying, lifelink, and protection from vampires, and the build and the power and toughness equal to the spirits and or enchantments you control. So there's some flexibility. You don't have to do complete enchantments. This could go to Spirits deck if you want. So there's some options there. And on the topic of Spirits, the Faithbound Judge, I like it. It's an alt win condition for the deck, because that's the one thing that I felt that the Disturb deck I was playing was missing, was a legit win con. And this thing right here, it's a pretty good win con for the effect of if your opponent somehow kills it, which I don't think would be the smart thing. If I saw this thing on the field, Nah, I wouldn't kill it. I wouldn't kill it. Uh, just because the backside is if it gets three counters of whatever counters it says on it, you lose. But on the front side is as long as it has four counters, as long as it has three or more counters on this thing, then that thing lets you just have a 4/4 fly with vigilance that attacks. Yeah, I think it's good. I've heard a lot of people say like, oh, it's not that good, or maybe it's just in it's called what's the deck called? Epiphany decks. There you go, all runs Epiphany decks. But I think this could just be either good in the Spirits deck or the Serve deck. Maybe Mono White can use it, honestly. It's got a whole bunch of potential on it. So I don't think it's just going to be limited to it being in the Disturber Spirits deck. It's got a lot of flexibility. All these Disturb cards have very much a lot of flexibility, especially in Mono White builds. If you just get the Disturb cards that are just white, the white ones are pretty decent. Like I'm just saying, yeah, keep an eye on the Disturb cards. They have a little bit of they've got something behind them. And look, they all got big butts too. Like look at that 4/4 toughness. You aren't. Yeah, frostbite is not a thing. You do not have to worry about that. All right, since we were talking about enchantments and the disturb things a little bit a while ago, I want to bring up Auric. Yeah. When I first got into Magic, I got in around the Dragons of Takir sort of realm. So I did see Auric in the first run, well, the second run, I guess, of Innistrad. However many times we've been to this plane, and I know it was a white, he's a pure white creature, and I believe in the in the story at the time, didn't he get possessed by a spirit? So shouldn't he be blue? But I know he died because in the art for Downfall he became this. But I'm not going on a tangent. I just like the way it looks. Orc was always kind of like a cool card, and I think it was cool. I just like it. Don't like that he's a vampire though, because it's like they try to pigeonhole him to like what he was, but now he works with blood tokens. That's the reason why he's here. It's in reference to the blood tokens. Blood tokens as just a general little concept. I think they're pretty good. Yeah. So blood tokens are basically draw a card and discard a card, and things like Oracle when it ETBs, you create as many for creatures you control with all these abilities. And vampires usually have flying, death touch. There are some first strikers in there. I know there's some haste. Lifelink's a real big thing. Soren makes lifelinkers with flying, so maybe in some sort of Mardu build you can throw this in there. Or yeah, the blood tokens just have a lot of things, and this is a big generator for them. I They just kind of pigeonhole Auric into it, and yeah, the card design I'm meh. What is the issue with this card for me? Like I like it. I think it's the card art. I like the card art. Yeah, I like the card art, and I'm a real fan of Boros. Boros is one of my preferred colors to play, so I think that's why I'm enjoying it. Maybe in the Boros build. Huh. It's not a human, but humans don't matter. I'm gonna do some research, but like, don't underestimate the blood tokens because draw a card. Yeah, drawing cards is great. That's how you get ahead of any Magic game. So yeah, but keep your eye on this guy. If you're gonna run blood tokens, use this. It's a big generator. If you're gonna have a whole bunch of key targets on the field, so why not? Yeah, yeah. It's kind of the Geist Hunter. Yeah, what I really like about her, it gives creatures, it gives all my creatures that control death touch, and it gives tokens a +1/+1. So it incentivizes you this to play tokens, and I love tokens. Who doesn't love having just like a big army to swarm your opponent? So maybe in the there's a human deck in here somewhere. I feel somewhere, but I just like it for that -2, and that basically doubles your token production. Why not? And then its ultimate, it makes spirit tokens. Yes, 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 yes. Unfortunately, she does not protect herself, but if you build the deck correctly and you draw, hopefully, right.
And I got lucky.
Then we will get lucky again.
This will work out. I like Kaya. We have two of her in the format. I'm I'm a big fan of the 5 drops of her 5-drop version. But this one has some potential. I'm probably gonna build around with it. I'm gonna mess with it a little bit. It looks fun. Big token synergy. Talk about her. Had to talk about her. Olivia, she's honestly, I don't know what I was expecting with Olivia. I think I just really wanted to play Olivia, and knowing that she was going to be in here just made me automatically fall in love with her card. So I want to play with Olivia. The Vampires deck, the Vampires deck has so many ways it can go, but I feel like all of them are going to have Olivia on the top end just because of her effect of whenever she attacks, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking. Perfect. And whenever they gain the ability of whenever you don't control a legendary vampire, exile the card. So as long as you have a whole bunch of legendary vampires, like the old deck we went over earlier, he's legendary. Uh, who else? Edgar, he's legendary. If you're gonna do the Mardu build, uh, Floridian. There's just a whole bunch of legendary vampires that you have access to herself. Yeah, and she's got flying and haste, so immediately you're coming in with like a big bop. Oh, she's an ender. She's a game ender for sure. The aggressiveness of the vampire deck basically sets up that yeah, she's a 3/4, which seems underpowered, but given that where you're supposed to be at that point when you're running these color combinations with this mechanic, yeah, you should be like, you throw her down, it's game over, it's end of days. If you cast her and you don't somehow end the game, yeah, she can block. She got a big butt on her, but you want to attack with it. So keep her. Yeah, I like her. Super cool. Super cool. Really awesome. Super glad that they did Olivia well. Got no complaints, just good card. While we're on the topic of vampires and just trying to get through some stuff, uh, Voldaren Estate, it makes the vampires just easier to play out because you can pay one and add a mana of any color. This mana can only be spent on vampire, and it also creates a blood token, so it's all upside for you. Yeah, it just creates general mana without that. But as long as you pay one, vampires have a lot of lifelink, so this is basically make a mana for free. It's irrelevant at that point, and you can play. You can run like a few less colors in there if you're having this. It adds more flexible dexterity to the vampire deck, and this definitely encourages either you can do the Mardu route and just splash a little bit of white and just have, or maybe just run this instead, depending on how many of the white vampires you're running. In my opinion, there aren't that many of them that are good. Like I said, just really focus on two colors. You can just splash this in there, and then you have the extra mana. Just good. Just good. Makes the Mardu vampires worth it. Are vampires going to be a relevant strategy? I don't know, just because there's so many variations that the deck could take. Like it can go aggressive, it can go aggro, it can go sort of mid range. There's a weird sort of control aspect with it if you kind of want to go that way. I would not recommend it, but it's there, and that's just that. This just makes everything so much more flexible. Yeah, good card. That's gonna be like the whole thing. All these cards are good. At least in my opinion, they're good. And if you do not agree with my opinion,
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
shuck to be you. So just like how in the Midnight Hunt, there was a whole bunch of vampires in there, and they were like, okay, cool. There were decent vampires. You could make a vampire deck basically off of that, and it was fine. You can go see my video about how that worked for me. But the only reason I bring that up is because we were gonna get some werewolves or wolves in this set. I wasn't expecting anything like too big or too massive, but yo, they were hiding the good wolves in the set. Yo, I was so happy. Even though my attempt did not go as planned, these wolves are, oh, they're glorious. What's so amazing about them is like, one, there's a decent one drop in Ascendant Pack Leader. Yes. It rewards you for playing the werewolves, or at least playing bigger wolves, so that every time that you cast a spell, it says cast. It doesn't mean ETB. So on cast, even if it gets countered, the blast still gets the +1/+1. Yeah, it's a 2/1, so you have to buff it up like 3 times so it can get out of frostbite range. But still, the fact that they'll use frostbite on this and not, let's say, your Stormbreaker, I'll take that. Yeah, I'll take that. Sure, I'll lose my 1-drop, but my other cards are still safe for later. I want to go over the Arsonist and the Loner. These two, yes, you could put them in the Werewolf build if you want to. However, my thing for them is I think they would go really well in mono red. We don't have a real mono red deck running around right now, and it saddens me. As an aggro player that loves to go face, mono red isn't in the format, so. But with these two, I think, give mono red that little bit of punch that I'm kind of like, maybe there's something there. The Arsonist and the Loner just basically add more damage for every time you attack or you take damage, and their werewolf sides basically amplify that up. So, yeah, mono red seems like a really, really good part for these. I less likely do a werewolf build with these because with their mana cost, they're taking the spot of Arlen, and Arlen needs to go in that deck. That is Arlen's deck. So you can try to work it in there if you want to, but I think these would work better in like a mono red sort of build. And the last one I want to go over is Bark Caretaker. This makes mono green wolves or mono green Stompy a thing. There's a beast also that got released, that's getting released, that's a really good 4-drop that I may play instead of Eska's Chariot. This thing not only doesn't have hexproof, but at the beginning of combat, put 2 +1/+1 counters on another target you control. So at the beginning of combat, it doesn't need to attack. It can make whatever else you have on the field attack in. Which is pretty nice. Werewolf side, yes, she has hexproof, and other permanents you control have hexproof. Yeah, I want that. It definitely it's good targeting protection against everything, which is nice. Board wipes, it does not protect against board wipes. Those are a prevalent thing. And if you're on, I'm going to talk about more. I'm like a little bit talking myself out. It's a good card. It is a really good card for, especially target protection. You just got to worry about board wipes. Board wipes are the only thing. If you can somehow finagle your way into either you beat them under, they drew bad, basically you avoid the board wipe, and then this thing comes out, and they'll have his target destruction in your hand. Hey, boom, you're good, you're awesome, you're amazing. This is gonna work out for you. She's great. So yeah, I'm just saying the wolves are good, are looking good, and I cannot wait to get into the lab and start building these up again. Can I say lab? Kitchen? I'm just gonna start brewing. Yeah, brewing my study. I'll work on some kit traces. I'll work on later.
You suck!
All right. So the next ones I want to talk about are Sigarda's Paladin and Tauren Fist of the Angels. Okay, fisting angels. Fist pump. So for these guys, this is mainly me saying like how I like the train mechanic and how I can see it bolstering itself. So, you know, Tauren comes in, it's hopefully able to buff it so you can make it at least a 3/3 or something. It doesn't do anything on ETB, unfortunately. That's kind of makes it a little bit standard meh, but the train really does help as long as it attacks with a stronger creature, and then that's where the Paladin comes in. They both have this cool combo of where I think this is how it's going to work. Don't quote me, but I think is when she attacks and Tauren, since Tauren's attacking with her and she is a higher power than him, training kicks in, and with that, it gets bigger. It gets a +1/+1 counter on it. So that means she gets trample and lifelink. So with that combo, so instead of hitting for 6, yeah, instead of just hitting for 6, you're hitting for 7 with trample and lifelink. Boom, got there eventually. give me my Oscar. I am amazing at this. But stuff like that, like all the train cards, I know there's better options, but I just see this like sort of synergy working, and yeah, the Selesnya the Selesnya counter deck are definitely going to benefit from the training mechanic, and stuff like this is really fun. That's what I like to make big beefy creatures and slap face. Love that stuff. So yeah, expect to probably going to make a deck around these two. Okay, if you made it this far in the video, awesome. Thanks a lot. Much appreciated. Second of all, I haven't really gone over a lot of the commons or uncommons that I like. There's a whole bunch that I do, and also I've gotten over a lot of blue/controlled cards. So I decided to like kill 3 birds or whatever with 1 stone, and well, no, I have gone over some blue cards, but just regular blue cards. So I'm gonna kill that many birds with 1 stone by talking about synapse. I can read, Jesus. Synapse and Geistlight Snare. They are very low cost counter spells, and going up against, as an aggro player, this is the type of shit that I hate to see. So control players, if you are going up against an aggro or mid range, this stuff right here is the gas that you want, that will put us to shame and make us really hate and reconsider our life decisions. The Guy Snare will reward you for the Disturb/Spirit enchantment deck, whatever, because it's gonna cost 1 less for each of those you control. So it's a 3 mana. Let's say on turn 3, you happen to have a spirit. You have 2 spirits out, or let's say you have an enchantment out. Somehow you disturb for 1, and you still have 2 mana left open. This is especially at that point in the game, if they're gonna cast a 3-drop, they cannot cast a 3-drop. 1-drop is no, you can't cast anything. Honestly, damn, because you have to pay 3. Ugh, you got to pay 3 to do that. So yeah, this is a hard stop. This is a hard one. This is something I need to be aware of, especially moving forward. God, this thing is just, dang, it's deadly. And Snaps, it counterspell unless controller pays X. So this is a real good late gamer or early game. This is just a good counterspell in general, as long as your opponent has been ramping so much, or they're mana screwed, or they're trying to like go in on, okay, this is my big thing, Synapse. And you just watch him cry.
Stop! He's already dead.
Trust me, if I'm on the other side of your screen and I see this come down when I'm trying to do something big, yeah, I'm crying really hard. I'm going to bed. I'm going to cuddle my dog and not do this anymore. But yeah, just really cheap counter spells that I said this video was gonna be about cards I like. I like it for the spirit Disturb enchantment decks. Yeah, I like that for this, because that means like, okay, I've got some options, but I'm thinking about, oh, my life is gonna get hard. Oh, aggro players, we sometimes we get the short end of the stick, and this is the stick. Damn. I'm gonna move on because I made myself sad. Okay, so zombies just in general are gonna be good. There's a 4 mana flash exploit zombie in there, but I really want to talk about Grift Raver. But for this card, it's just good. It's really good. It's a 2 mana 3/3 with really good creature topping and zombie and warrior, so party antics can happen. And when you exploit it, destroy target planeswalker. Planeswalkers they're around right now. They haven't been super prevalent, at least in a lot of the matches I've had, but this could kill them. Sure, it's like, oh yeah, you ping yourself for 1 each time, but depending on the build, you can make this like very negligible. I know there's Jadar, I want to say that's his name. I hope I'm correct. This can help you get to 13 life, and then you flip that bad boy over, and yeah, ooh, I may just give myself a deck idea. But yeah, people should play this either in your zombie builds or mono black builds or just wherever you need a 2-drop in black. This thing, and especially have creatures you can sacrifice for it in like an aristocrats build. Yes, 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 yes. That card is so good. I can't wait to build with it. So good. All right, cool. So on the topic of mono black and things you may want to put in there, this thing, oh yes, just amazing. So it's a 1-drop that's a wall. It's big enough that frostbite isn't going to take care of it. Sure, you could probably get royal eruptioned on, but still though, they're using that on this as opposed to it hitting your face, so I'm going to take that. Yeah, it's just a good wall. And by turn 3, as long as you've been dropping mana effectively, you can flip this over to its other side. Once you flip it over, on the backside has, it's a 3/4. Yet again, keeps that big butt, gains your 3 power. Oh, 3 to, I just kind of got that. Alright. So, Revealing Eye has Menace, and whenever it transforms, it basically tells your opponent, hey, discard a card. Yes, they get to draw one, but you can get board wipes, all around Epiphany, their big bomb of, what else could they, basically, you can cripple whatever plan they have to enable you to do something else, and you get a peek at their hand to figure out, okay, what am I working with, what can I do? And it's got so many options, and just for 1 mana you get all this, and you dump 3 into it. That's not that bad. This is scary good, actually. I'm gonna mess with this eyeball. I'm gonna my mono black build or something. I just know mono black, it's gonna be good. Those are pretty much all the cards that I at least want to talk about right now. There's a couple of others that I can mention. I didn't even go into Edgar. Edgar's real good. Any of the other planeswalkers. People don't like the new Chandra, but I think she's got something there. I talked about Soren, but Soren's just gonna be awesome. More legendary creatures, more double side cards. The set is good. I'm sorry, there's people in my house that are just talking, being annoying, whatever. But yes, so if you made it all the way to the end, yet again, thank you, much appreciated. You're a great, awesome individual. Regular Magic content will continue next week. I'm not sure about which deck I want to do yet. Actually, I may put a poll on Twitter, so follow my Twitter below to tell me which deck you want to see me build first. If I know I have a tiny audience, but hey guys, I appreciate it. It'd be fun to do just to see. And I will build that deck because I have a couple of things in my mind. But I know probably one of the first ones that I for sure gonna build, or I'm gonna put on that poll, are Wolves. Wolves need a redemption after that atrocious outing they had last time. So bad. Alright, so this video is not too long. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Much appreciated. And wherever you're at in the world, I just hope you continue to just be awesome, happy, and healthy. Later, folks.